Restorative Practices Made Simple, Series 2. Restorative practices, it's all about the relationships. Restorative practices refer to a way of being that allows us to form and maintain healthy relationships. It provides a solid foundation for us to promote a whole school culture and climate change based on building relationships. Our panel guests today are Jennifer McCready from Tomball ISD. Hey, Jennifer.
Hi there.
And our next guest is Yanni Oquendo from Killeen ISD. Hi, Yanni.
Hello there, Dr. Lang.
I'm glad you all made it this evening. Thank you so much. So I am going to ask you some questions, but before I ask you the question, if you will introduce yourself to our listeners, would be great. So, Yanni, can you introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Yanni Oquendo. I am a principal in Killeen ISD. I started my journey with restorative practices at my previous campus and have now we're launching restorative practices at this campus as I've become principal. So I'm very excited to be on this journey with Dr. Lang and Michelle as well, or Jennifer. What's the question?
Okay, I'm going to give you my question. Here is my question. What are community building circles? Everybody, there's a buzz. Well, it's a community building circle if this, if that. So what really is a community building circle? What separates that from anything else?
Yeah, so a community building circle is essentially an avenue through which our students can build relationships with one another. It's a safe place where everyone can listen to one another and everyone has an opportunity to be heard and share. So there's three main components when you have a restorative circle. You have to have a talking piece. A talking piece allows every person to listen and each person to be heard. You have to have the guidelines. The guidelines are how we're going to be together in the circle, how everyone's going to interact with one another. And we have to have values. Values are the foundation of the circle. It's really where relationships stem from. The values are common things like love, kindness, the things that, our families treat us in the home. So we ask our students to generate those values, and we go back to them every time we have a circle. The parts of the circle, we always start with an opening or an icebreaker, something light and fun that can get the kids engaged in that conversation. And then we move into the values round where we talk about the values. We go back to the values that have already been established. We ask the students if there are any values that we need to add to it. Are we still good with those values? And then we go back to our guidelines. We have to revisit our guidelines every time, especially if you have someone new coming into the circle. We want to make sure that everyone knows that this is a safe place and it's meant for everyone to listen from the heart, to speak from the heart, to trust that you know what you're going to say. So we always go back to those guidelines, as well as introducing that talking piece and everyone taking a turn with that talking piece. After that, we start our rounds of prompts. So the leader of the circle or the keeper starts with the question of the first round. So it might be a very light get to know you question like, oh, what's your favorite kind of ice cream? Or something similar to that. Some favorites is a good way to start. You can usually have 2 rounds of prompts, and then we have a reflection, maybe giving students an opportunity to talk about maybe what they learned about themselves, or maybe they learned about someone else, how they connected with someone else in the circle. And then, of course, we do a closing, which is, once again, just a light kind of activity where we can end the circle just on a lighter note.
Beautiful. I love circle talk. I like talking about circles all the time. I like talking about the parts. I'm so excited just hearing how you expressed it and made me feel like I could be in a circle right now. I'm ready to go. I want to do a circle too right this minute. And one of the things we do is pre-teach all of the values. That's why she was saying that they have values that they already knew. Thank you so much, Yanni, for sharing that with us. So Jennifer, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Jennifer McCready. I'm the school counselor at Tomball Connections Academy and Tomball ISD, and we have 3 programs. We have the Discipline Alternative Education program, We have Success Academy, which is a dropout prevention program, and we have Community Connections for special needs young adults learning on-the-job training. And we employ restorative practices with all of our students. This is our 5th year of implementation. We started back in 2018-19, and we have a TEA badge that we're very proud of. And we're hoping to go for the final expert level this year. And what's my question?
Your question, my dear, is how can community building circles be used in school? And can you give me some examples?
Well, I just would love to give you some examples. Community building circles can be used with, first of all, your staff to build relationships amongst staff. You can also use community building circles with your student groups. It's really important that you maintain all the parts that Yanni just told us, but that you also have specific predictable times and places so that students are looking forward to those circles. I know that when EOC testing occurs and we have to move circles around, I have a bunch of grumpy kids because we didn't do circle when they are accustomed to doing circle. This week is lots of circle opportunities, community building fun. We've talked about our future self. Tomorrow we're talking about having growth mindsets. And at the end of the week, we'll talk about preparing for the 2-week break from school, because for some students, it's a fun time, and for some students, it's a challenging time. And for many of us, it's both. And so there's ways that you can talk to kids about things in the circle where everyone is equal and everyone is connected. Like Yanni said at the end, reflecting together and looking around and saying, you know what, I'm not alone. I can connect with this person, and then often building on those relationships.
Wow, that was really good. I like those circle titles. It really is helpful too, so that students will have a place to let some of that go before they leave, and some strategies for coping when they're by themselves for those 2 weeks. And that's really a great idea and a nice use of circles. Really good example. Yanni, you have a badge too. What's your badge? This is your second school for a badge, though.
We're working on our badge for our new school. Our first campus had a beginner badge.
All right, very good. Thank you so much. I want to talk about a little strategy, because sometimes teachers are very concerned that they cannot do a whole big old circle. Oh my God, it's too many parts. All that Yanni name, I can't do all that. So here's a little quick way that I get people to do what I call the on-ramp. Kind of like, you know, when you're driving, you have to get on the on-ramp to jump on the freeway. So before you jump to the freeway, we could drive on the on-ramp a little while. And my on-ramp is called a mini circle, just a little bitty circle like this. So what is a mini circle? Well, let me give you an example. So if I'm the teacher and Yanni and Jennifer, you're my students, and we're in 5th grade. All right. So good morning, class.
Good morning, Dr.
Good morning, Dr. Lang.
You know what? I want to get to know you a little bit better. And you know what I'm going to do? Every day for 30 days, we're going to use a talking piece. And to say our question and answer our questions, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to give you the example, then you follow my example. And then tomorrow we'll do another one. The next day, and for 30 days, I'm going to learn a lot about you, and you're going to learn a lot about me. So my question today is, are you the oldest in your family, the youngest in your family, in the middle? Are you an only child? I'm going to go first. I'm in the middle of my family. Yanni, where are you?
I'm the oldest in my family.
Ooh, Jennifer, where are you?
I'm the oldest in my family too.
Wow, you guys will have a lot to talk about at recess and at lunch. Being the oldest, you probably can share a lot of stories about younger siblings if you have any. Very good. So tomorrow we'll start with another question, and that's the end of the mini circle. It should not take you more than 1 minute of your class time just to get to know your students. If you're afraid to do the big circle, you're not ready to do it, find a way to build that relationship with them so that when there's an issue, you can go to them and say, look, Yanni, you have not been working hard in class today. I know you're the oldest and you're taking care of some other siblings, but is there anything I can do to help you? She might share that she had to stay up late doing something. So my relationship now with her is beginning to form. And that's the whole purpose of restorative practices, building relationships. As we said when we began, restorative practices, it's all about the relationship. That's what this series was about. As we end, I would like to ask each of you if you could leave our listeners or viewers with one tip. What is the takeaway you want them to take for today? What's one thing, if you had to tell them, this is something you really want to remember, this is something you need to take away, this is something that's very important. What's your one takeaway? Yanni, what would you say?
I think I would say that the most important part of the circle is for all of the students to understand that everyone has an opportunity to listen and everyone has an opportunity for their voice to be heard. Oftentimes we get stuck in the, hey, you have to be quiet. No, you get this opportunity to listen to this other student in your class, and that's so valuable.
I like that, an opportunity to listen. Isn't that beautiful? And we rarely give them opportunity to speak. It's always be quiet, shut up, listen to what I'm saying, do your lesson. This is the time for them to say something. It's really good. Thank you. Jennifer, what do you want to say?
I want to say that students and staff, I think, are craving authentic relationships. And the circle provides, I think, the foundation for that opportunity. It changes everything. And it makes coming to school something that students and staff want to do.
Wow, that is really a beautiful way of putting that, Jennifer, because if you can establish great relationships, kids will do anything for you. I mean, they will care about you because they know you care about them. So let's end the series. It's restorative practices. It's all about the relationships. Until next time, stay tuned.